The nations, the citizens of Israel. My relevant identity is Palestinian. I'm not a minority in Israel. I'm a minority among the Israel citizens. There is a big difference there. And me and my other Palestinians, the West Bank and Gaza, are the different people, except one significant difference. We belong to different nationalities. We have different national aspirations. From here, I will proceed to the second part. You probably know that there is a big gap, tension between the ethnic Jewish majority and the ethnic Palestinian minority in what is known as Sovereign Israel, inside the 67 lines. There's a big tension there. I frequently ask why the Palestinian citizens of Israel feel so negatively towards Israel. I'm trying my best not to say feel hatred toward their own state. They don't like the state. They have so intense negative feelings toward their own state of Israel. Why is that? For this end, I will tell you a story that happened 2 months ago. The story is Ameer Fakhoury from Nakba. Okay? We have this young girl from Akka in northern Israel who chose to participate in the Israeli version of the singing contest, The Voice. You probably know this program. So everybody is surprised she won this contest. And many optimists from both sides saw this winning as a sign, a positive sign that the ever-growing gap between the two groups can be reconciled. That the minority, my group, should and could integrate and assimilate in Israel, and that the majority should and could welcome this minority with open arms. They saw it as a positive sign of potential reconciliation. However, recently, Dina, the girl who won the contest, had to issue a statement falsifying news saying that she will be participating as a singer in the upcoming celebration for Israel Independence Day. From her statement, it was clear that she is in a dilemma. From the one hand, she wants, quite naturally, to advance herself economically, socially, in a career term, and such an event can do that. From the other hand, if she does participate in such an event, she risks being outcast or even boycotted by her own society. This is a classical example of the everyday dilemma that Palestinian citizens of Israel experience. From the one hand, they seek quite naturally to advance themselves economically, socially. On the other hand, this desire stands in direct contradiction to their negative sentiment, attitude toward the state. There is an immense political, social, psychological barrier between them and what should be their country. Why is that? It's a very important question. I usually choose to mention several events in the history of the Palestinian citizens of Israel to explain why you have this abnormal situation whereby citizen has so negative sentiments toward his state. Of course, to explain that, I'll have to start with the Nakba. Most of you probably know what is the Nakba, the catastrophe. In this part, I wrote this, but to maintain precision, I wrote it in a very precise way. So, with your permission, I want to read what I wrote in this regard to the Nakba and a citation after this. The first event is what has been known as the Nakba, meaning the catastrophe. The Palestinians feel that the establishment of Israel has been achieved over their expense, over the expense of their dignity and through violating their most basic rights. The average Palestinian holds the Zionist movement responsible for destruction of Palestinian society and economy that existed here before the establishment of Israel. As well, he holds it responsible for the expulsion of more than 1 million Palestinians and responsible for their dispossessing. He feared that their world, his world, land and life as they knew it, were stolen from him by European immigrants backed by the hegemon at the time. Of course, this is it's the personal view or perception of Palestinians about the Nakba. He feels that the great injustice has been made since minority of immigrants, back then one third of the local population, has succeeded through violence to inherit the land from the majority on the expense of this majority. They feel dispossessed, beaten, out of place in their own place, countryless in their hometown, in their own homeland. They know that they have lost their homeland to more powerful, more organized immigrants. I find the following citation as very precise in describing or portraying the collective feeling of Palestinians towards the Nakba. This is the citation from the renowned Professor Baruch Kimmerling. The self-image of a collective proud of himself and his fast development, a collective that has almost overcome the mightiest superpower in the world, and who achieved political achievement that slowed down the Zionist hold in the land, has vanished to be replaced by the Palestinians' feeling that they have been victimized by a great conspiracy and injustice which contradict the cosmic order, and that only regaining what has been lost will restore the cosmic morale. In short, first of all, to understand to understand the soul, the mind, thoughts, feelings of a Palestinian here, you have to understand the Nakba. You can't understand them without understanding their perception of what happened in less than 6 months between December 1947 until April 1948. However, many understand the Nakba, but they don't understand another important thing related to it. The Nakba never ended. It was just the beginning. The Nakba never ended. They think that, oh, it happened 65 years ago. Continue on with your life. No, it never ended. The rationale underlying the Nakba still exists today. It still dominates the Israeli policy towards the Palestinians here in this contested land. What do I mean by that? After the expulsion of more than 1 million Palestinians, another 100 to 150,000 Palestinians remained here. They were given citizenship by Israel. This citizenship, as they will later on reveal, was meaningless, incomplete, broken. How was Israel introduced to this minority? How was Israel introduced? First, it was introduced by a military rule that started from the 17-year-old military rule, under which the Palestinians were put for security reasons, per se. During this military rule, they witnessed their land. Of course, in the military rule, the cities, towns have become transformed, have been forcibly transformed to open air jails. No one coming, no one entering. So, of course, they have witnessed the land expropriated by them in these years for almost nothing to do. So this is how Israel was introduced to the Palestinians. 70 years of military rule. But not just that. During the military rule in 1956, a crime has been committed, a horrific crime has committed against this group. As 49 Palestinians in the village of Kfar Qasim has been gunned down by the police. They have been gunned down for unknowingly violating a curfew back then. This is how Israel was introduced to us. Quite expectedly, the criminals didn't face adequate penalties, being, I think, 5 years was the highest sentence, although they opened fire on innocent civilians. Again, this is how Israel was introduced to us. Quite shockingly, a formal, official apology came after 40 years from the event that has been known as Madbahat Kfar Qasim massacre. This in 1956. Then came the infamous Six-Day War, when we saw our brothers, Palestinians from West Bank and Gaza, falling under brutal, degrading occupation that started as an occupation. And of course, this added more fuel to already negative sentiment that we have. After 1967 came the land days. Again, this is how Israel was introduced to my parents' generation. This is what they